Hello, hello, hello. Can I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, sir. Mitri sir, namaste. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, sir. Welcome.
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Fine, ma'am.
A warm welcome on the
Thank you,
behalf
ma'am.
of our college and the Department of English.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, please, sir. I request Dr. Sachin Bandare, sir, to proceed with the program.
Yes, yes. Sure, madam. हा स्वागत जॉईन झाला का? So on behalf of Rajarshi Shahu Mahavidyalaya Latur and on my own behalf, I welcome Honorable Chief Guest of today's lecture 3 of Knowing a Book lecture series. So Honorable Dhanappa Mitri sir will speak on The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. I am here to give certain preliminaries for the session. Dear sir, Rajarshi Shahu Mahavidyalaya Latur is celebrating its Golden Jubilee in the year 2020. And to celebrate this Golden Jubilee year, we have decided to organize various co-curricular, extracurricular and academic activities. And as a part of that academic activities, Department of English has taken an initiative to start Knowing a Book lecture series to celebrate the Golden Jubilee year of our esteemed institute. For this lecture series, Honorable Principal of our college, Dr. Mahadev Gavane sir, has given us an inspiration. He has given an idea that you should start such academic pursuit so that the students will be well acquainted with the literary texts from their regular academic life. And for that purpose, we have decided to start Knowing a Book lecture series. Of course, as a part of English language and literature, the students of UG and PG programs study the literary text. But during the very limited period of their academic careers, they are not acquainted with the most of the literary texts which are world famous, without which literature, or what we can say the definition of literature, cannot be complete. So, in order to acquaint the students with the renowned literary texts, we have decided to organize this lecture series, and in every month we try to organize a lecture on one of the literary texts by the renowned author. Honorable Head of the English Department, Dr. Anuja Jadhav Madam, is always there to support us to conduct such type of activities. So with the inspiration of the principal and with the kind support of the head of the department, we have organized so far 2 lectures. Now this is the 3rd lecture which we are going to enjoy very soon. So with these preliminaries, now I hand over the charge to Swagat Rokde for further proceedings. Swagat, please.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning, a very good afternoon to one and all. Today, on behalf of Rajarshi Shahu Mahavidyalaya and Department of English, we are going to have a program of Knowing a Book. Knowing a Book. This is 3rd lecture on George Eliot's The Mill on Floss lecture. So, preliminaries were handled by Mr. Sachin Bhandare, sir. Thank you for it. And for our introduction of our highly intellectual guest, I would like to call Miss Sheikh Samrin for introduction of our guest. Sheikh Samrin, please. Hello.
Swagat, Samrin has some technical problems. Please, you go with the schedule. You go with the introduction of the guest.
Okay, sir.
Do you have?
Hello. So for today's lecture, I would like to call Mr. Dhanappa M. Metri, Sangameshwar College, Solapur, Vice Principal. Sir have been teaching in Sangameshwar College as a Vice Principal. So I would like to call. So now without wasting much time, I would like to call our today's guest, Mr. Dhanappa M. Metri, sir.
Swagat.
Please, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Swagat.
Yes,
there
sir.
is a little bit change in the program.
Okay, sir.
Sir Dhanappa, sir, our proposal of capacity building program is going on. So our Vice Principal, Dr. A.J. Raju, the president of today's program, he will have first presidential address, and then we will proceed for our guest lecture.
Yes.
So now I request Honorable President of today's program, Dr. A.J. Raju, sir, for presidential address.
Thank you, Bhandare, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure, sir. You are audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. So at the outset, I welcome all the participants as well as the resource person to today's book series lecture on Mill on the Bloss. Sir, it is a pleasure and privilege for me to be with the resource person, Sri Dhanappa M. Mhetri sir, Vice Principal of Sangameshwar College, Solapur, and HOD of the English Department, Dr. Anuja Jadhav Madam, and Dr. Bhandare sir, the organizer of the lecture series, as well as the resource person, other staff members, and my dear students. See, this is a guest lecture based on book series, that is Mill on the Bloss by the English novelist popularly known as the George Eliot. Without going into the details of the literary work of George Eliot, what I would like to share with you is that knowing a book has many advantages. This is because learning from the book, we will be able to know the cultural background of the writer, the story, as well as the period in which the characters live. So from analyzing a book through the expert will give us an insight into the characters and the time in which they lived, as well as how the story has evolved in that era. Similarly, we also heard that our friends may leave us, our relatives may leave us, but friendship with books will definitely be a great advantage because they will never leave us. So, as a student of literature, one should have to develop a love for reading books, especially from classics, because classics are supposed to live forever, or its literary values will continue generation to generation, because irrespective of the period in which they have written, it has lifelong value. Because the literary contribution of the great writers will inspire us, will give us the ability to think beyond the present times. So, as a student of literature, one should develop the habit of reading books, especially quality books, where not only from our own languages, but also from other foreign authors. This is because literature has no boundaries, even though languages have certain limitations. But in order to develop the habit of reading books from classics, one will be able to understand the cultural background, the period, how the characters are formed, and what were the personal experience of the authors. So all these factors will help us to understand better as a student of literature, analyzing the books and the author's background. So about Mary Ann Evans, known by her pen name George Eliot, was one of the leading writers of the Victorian era. The novels written by her include Adam Bede, The Mill on the Floss, Silas Marner, Romola Felix Holt, The Radical, The Middlemarch, and Daniel Deronda. So The Mill on the Floss contains many of her biographical events. Many of her personal lives were influenced in writing The Mill on the Floss. So it is the story of the siblings Tom and Maggie Tulliver, who grew up at Dorklot Mill on the river flows. So, as in that time, female novelists were generally seen as only romantic authors. So, while going through the little bit of the background of the author, I found that Mary Ann wanted to be taken seriously as a writer because in Victorian era, female authors were considered only as romantic authors. So serious literature areas were out of considered as female writers. So in order to avoid that discrimination, she has chosen a name called a male name, George Eliot. So her pen name is penned as that like. So the cultural background and all those limitations, in order to avoid those discrimination, she had taken that particular pen name. So going through the literature, what we could have found out is that the twist and other aspects of the stories. So I think the resource person will definitely give us an insight into the story, how the characters have developed, and ultimately what contribution George Eliot has made to the world of literature. So I think today's sessions will definitely enrich our knowledge about the author and her literary contribution to the English literature. So without taking much time, I thank the organizers for providing an opportunity to preside over this particular guest series, and I will definitely listen what the resource person would share with us, because I am a student of social science. So definitely it will be a rich experience for me to again become a student like environment in which I will sit and listen the resource person, Sri Dhanappa M. Medresar. Sir, I welcome you to this particular series on behalf of the institution. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your presidential address.
Swajat now invites Samreen.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your presidential address. Now I would like to call Ms. Sheikh Samreen for giving the introduction of our highly intellectual guest. Please, Sheikh Samreen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today on the guest lecture arranged by our English department, it's my proud privilege to introduce to you all our today's chief guest, Vice Principal of Sangameshwar College, Dhanappa Metri sir. At present, he is working as the Vice Principal and HOD of English at Sangameshwar College, Solapur. He has 30 years of experience of teaching English at Sangameshwar College, Solapur, teaching UG and PG classes. He has experience in guiding the aspirants for different competitive examinations. He is the member of IQAC and College Development Committee. He has attended 60 conventions from state to international, actively participated and presented papers, and regularly participates in the webinars organized by IETFL UK on various aspects of English language teaching. He has been chaired 1 international and 2 sessions of the national seminars, worked as rapporteur of the session of state level seminar. He is a resource person to seminars on quality education and teaching of English language and literature. He has also delivered speeches on education and different topics. He has a professional membership in International Association of Teachers of English as Foreign Language UK, English Language Teachers Association of India, English Language Teachers Association of India Literature SIG, and Solapur University English Teachers Association and Rotary Club Solapur. He has published 30 papers in University News Journal published by AIU on quality education and 6 articles in Journal on Teaching English Language and Literature. His 2 articles on teaching English are published in magazine Voices, published by International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language from UK. His first short story, namely Life-Changing SMS, is published in International Journal of English Literature, Language and Skills. His funny anecdotes are published in Reader's Digest, the leading magazine in English. He has authored a chapter in book entitled Issues and Challenges in Indian Higher Education, published by Wordsworth and Wordsworth, New Delhi in 2012. He has worked on UGC-sponsored minor research project on scientific English. 7 students won prizes for research projects qualifying for state-level research festival Avishkar under his guidance. He has awarded with IDA National Teaching Award 2016 by India Didactics Association. He has won international scholarship by Regional English Language Office under American Embassy, New Delhi in 2014. He has also awarded with the Best Research Paper Presenter Award at the National Seminar 2011 and Professional Excellence Award of Rotary Club Solapur in 2009. We welcome you here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Samreen, for your introduction for our guest. So without wasting much further time, I would like to call our today's guest, Mr. Dhanappa Maitri sir, to guide us on today's topic. Please, Mr. Dhanappa Maitri sir. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Please.
Thank you very much, organizers. I am grateful to the institution which found me suitable for your need of book series. I have acquaintance with your institution. To my institution, several times we have visited. We have been benefited by your institution. We are sailing in the same boat. Rather, I can say we have the feelings of younger brother, and we get guidance from your principal, then earlier Masundar sir, and even Anuja madam. She is my sisterly figure. We together were part of some workshops in Infosys. I am proud of her father, who is part and parcel of Indian higher education. In addition to this, I congratulate the institution and the department for undertaking such a nice activity, which I have rarely heard. It is book series lectures. I'm the lecture series of introducing the books. I learned many things from you. It is worth emulating, worth following. I congratulate the department. I congratulate the institution at its anniversary, 50th Golden Jubilee that you said. I wish on this platform, many people will come. They will share whatever they have read to acquaint the learners with quality English literature, creative English literature, so that you will be benefited, you will be enlightened through these writers. Friends, when I was invited, I thought over it, what book should I select? So I fumbled. In the beginning, I wanted to have some other book, but I zeroed on my favorite book, The Mill on the Floss. There are some reasons behind selecting this text. This is about the youth, and I am going to address the youth. This book is a motivating book for the youth. So I thought this will be better book to share with. This is a book I have often quoted to my students because I read in my studenthood. It has its direct impact upon my personality because of its language, because of its subject, because of its classical nature. So I decided to go for this book. I wish I shall try to justify to this platform. It will be a success on my side if my discussion makes you people to take the book from the library, read it. If it is not available, it is my success if the students demand the department to have the book in the library. I wish the book is there in the library. Then secondly, those who want to read it, it is freely available on the internet. In addition to that, it has been converted into a film that is also freely available on the net. So my deliberation should motivate you people to read that book. I will be highly obliged. I will be highly happy if any one of you studies other books sir introduced, because reading of the book should not stop with one book. You should have been aroused with an interest to read other books also by the same author. So anyhow, it was my aim to share with this book with you people. Let me see. The presentation will be in the form of some introductory part. Then I shall go to the summary of the text. Then I shall go to the philosophical element of the text. Then this text is very, what I can say, sensitive to the youth especially. It has the background of Charles Darwin's theory, fittest that serves. Friends, all of you are young people. You should be having this confidence of survival. We are going through number of uncertainties. Life is becoming very volatile. The problems like COVID are coming up. You people should be prepared for such things. That creation of your mindset to face such problems is possible through literature. And this book, initially called a psychological book, will be a psychological booster to you young people who will definitely undertake this book. Those who are already the readers, they may not find it difficult. But for the beginners, you can see those days, bulky books were written. It is bulky, but I share with you people, I read this book when I was in MA. So you too should try to read this book. Friends, we are the students of higher education. In higher education, some people go for science. They want to know life only. They want to know nature. Some want to know the sky, the avian. Some want to know geography of the earth. But the students of literature, the people who want to read books, the people who want to read literature, they want to understand life and culture. So, by reading this, the very objective of education should be fulfilled. We are learning because, we are reading because, we are part of the formal education because we want to be sensitized. Youth should be sensitive. Youth should be creative. Youth should be critical thinkers. That is quality education, which makes you people independent thinkers. As a result, you will be in a position to solve your own problems. In this novel, the young boy like you people comes across life and death situation. In this situation also, the boy faces the challenge and brings back to the reputation of the family. That is why I have selected this book. Every young boy and girl listening to me, your ultimate aim should be happiness in the eyes of your parents. We owe a lot. That is why this is a model text. This is useful text for you people to lose the innocence. We people behave innocently. A stage is supposed to come in the life of the person where you become
उसको मार तो बोल अबे कौन गया
रिसोर्स पर्सन म्यूट झालेत का?
Yes, sir.
Bhandari sir, I think resource person has been muted.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Please continue.
Yes, yes, sir. Sure. Sir.
So because of your reading, you should be educated in real sense. It should build your character. Please try to understand me. I can say literature is interdisciplinary. There may be a doctor, there may be an engineer, but he is supposed to be a wise person. There is a difference between intelligence and wisdom. A doctor may be intelligent doctor. An engineer may be an intelligent person, but he should be a wise person too. And literature teaches you people how to be wise. That is why there is need for wise people in the society. We are a lot of intelligent people, but we are badly in need of the people who are wise, who can create happy atmosphere, who can make this world worth living. And that is possible through literature study only. So friends, The Mill on the Floss, the title is based on the mill and the river Floss. It is not a real river. Writers usually have their imaginary landscape. So it is imaginary mill and imaginary river Floss. On the bank of the river Floss, there is a mill. It is run with the waters of the river Floss. You must be knowing earlier days, water course was used to run the machines before the steam engines. The flow of the river was diverted. As a result, the turbines moved, the mill worked. Totally, water was the source of energy. The owner of the mill is Mr. Tulliver. His wife is Mrs. Tulliver. This happy family has two siblings, one son, another daughter. Son is mischievous, as usually boys are like that. Girl is intelligent, naturally sober, intelligent girls. So these two are their apple of eyes. Father is, Mr. Tulliver is a confident man. He is the owner of the mill. But recently he is running in debts, loans. However, he is very ambitious to teach his son to be a great person. He doesn't want him to be a miller once again. So he thinks his son to be attached to an academy. His wife is happy-go-lucky woman. whenever there is any crucial decision, she wants her sisters should be consulted. So the sisters are called. They try to admonish him, tell him, already you are in running loans. Why should you spend money on your son's education? This hurts the head of the family. He is very unhappy. He is very upset. Already the problem was running. There was a farmer, had a lawsuit, court matter. He wanted to divert the course of the water, the flow of the water. The course of the water diverted was going to affect the functioning of the mill. So the court matter was going on, and there was a lawyer named, there was a lawyer named Wakeham. See the name the writers give, very interesting names. Wakeham is very close to wicked. He's a wicked fellow. Court matter starts. Mr. Tulliver admits his son in a school. Before he admitted his son, as I already mentioned, he was in need of money, but he was insulted by his relatives. He decides to go to his sister, to whom he had lent some money. But his sister had a number of kids. They were very poor. But Mr. Tulliver was in no mood today. He went to his sister. He did not light from the horse. He warned his sister. He wanted his money back. Helpless sister. She openly tells her brother, if you insist on returning the money, we have been left with no option but to sell ourselves. That is why Mr. Tulliver becomes emotional. He becomes sympathetic. He decides not to ask for money. He returns home. His son is admitted in the school. Only one student in the academy. But the boy finds nothing interesting in the school. He is a person involving in the nature. Everyone cannot be made to learn. Everyone cannot be taught in one way. Students do not attend the classes because their way of learning are different, and the education system forces them to learn with one system only. That is why the boy, Tom, finds it very difficult to adjust with the school. He behaves in a very strange manner. His sister Maggie visits the academy. She is with her brother. She is a very different type of girl, very attractive voice, but black in complexion. Her mother is always worried. So she always objects to the daughter and the son going by the river bank. And she says, he complains all the time, one day you will tumble into the river and die. Okay? She says, you will die one day in the river. Anyhow, this sister goes to her brother to see him in the school. She goes to the school second time. By this time, there is a new student in the academy. He is Philip. He is Philip, Wakeham's son. I think you are with me. Wakeham was a lawyer in which he was a part of the litigation and he was fighting on the opposite side of the client. Tulliver's opponent, Wakeham's son, was a deformed boy. Physically, he was completely deformed, a bent neck. But he was very much impressed by Maggie's intelligence, Maggie's way of reading the books. He falls in love of this girl, and Maggie too has attraction for Philip. Maggie returns home. Friends, unwanted thing happens. Mr. Tulliver loses the court suit. From here, the story catches, it becomes serious now. Court matter lost by Mr. Tulliver. Already in debts. Son is admitted in the school. He loves the daughter very much. But now the condition becomes grim. This makes him have a mental shock. He develops a type of paralysis and he is bedridden. Entire family is in no way to take any decision. Then the court matter continues. The Dorlcote mill is auctioned, sold, and it is bought by the lawyer himself. You can see the way people, we are going to see it afterwards, how man behaves. He always was enemy of Mr. Tulliver. He makes Mr. Tulliver a manager of the same property. You can imagine what may be the condition of a man when he is a servant on his own farm, on his own property. He is bedridden. Maggie once again goes to the academy and tells her brother what has happened. Tom is very interestingly described. This is a literary language. How can we say the boy was 19-year-old? We can say the boy had crossed his adolescence. It is one way of telling. The boy was getting responsible, another way of telling. The boy was losing his innocence is another way of telling. But George Eliot very interestingly says, friends, if you read the book, you will come to know that Tom had used the blade for the first time. You can imagine the rest of the things. This is the beauty of literature. What he says, Tom had used the razor for the first time. All of you are young. This is experienced by you people some one or another time. So he returns home, surprised to see property acquired by somebody. Father has become a servant on his own farm. Mother, as usual, is not in the mood to say anything. Instead of controlling the damage, she is trying to help her sisters to select different objects in the family, valuable objects. She is the lady. She is telling her sisters, buy this one, take this one. Mr. Tulliver is bedridden. This is the topic for problem solving skill, friends. Today, the syllabus will not be a syllabus which doesn't make the youth to think and solve the problems. Problems are not only in other subjects. Problems are also in literature. Reading literature following the writer, you will see the problem, he will analyze the problem, he will come to the conclusion at the end, and the writer has to bring the solution in his plot construction. Okay. Then this boy is surprised to see the condition of his father. I have already told you people, intellectually he was zero. Compared to his sister, he was nowhere. Then what job can he get? Already the family is debt-ridden in the loans. How can he solve the family problem? He goes to his uncle. He tells him very interestingly, friend, life is not in books and pens and inks. The color of life is very different. If you want to survive, you have to work. You have to apply your knowledge, apply your skill, so that you can be successful in your life. Then he says, give me a job. He says, what can you do? He says, I can do such and such thing. And to his level, the job is provided and he gets a job. Mr. Deliver, who is sick, suffering from paralysis, is slowly improving. And looking at his growing son, the son goes to work early in the morning, returns late in the evening. Every day the boy does some or other thing. But one day he returns home early. The family is surprised. Why has he come so early? Friends, it's a very romantic part of this novel. May I ask sir to share the chapter that I had asked? Let us read together small part of the novel. Young people listening to this will be very different. Sir, please share it. It is a chapter in the novel that I always cherish. I always share with my students. This is the slide. I had given a file. Here there is a chapter, hard-won triumph. Can it be shared, sir? Yeah. No. One more file I have given. Yeah. Sir, slowly you take it up. So friends, please enjoy the story and you will feel great in your life to read this part of the story. I want to take your valuable 5 to 7 minutes, but you will have to read it. 3 weeks later, when Dorlcote Mill was at its prettiest moment in all the year, the great chestnuts in blossom and the grass all deep, dazed Tom Tulliver came home to it earlier than usual in the evening. Sir, take it up, sir. Sir. Sir, how can it be?
Yes, sure, sir.
So the boy came bit earlier in the evening. Can it not be opened, sir?
Hello, Ankush. Chapter 6, थोडं वर सारखं अंकुश.
वर सरकवत जा म्हणून मी जसं वाचतो तसं.
Yes, 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 sure, sir.
फार वर गेलं तर जस्ट अ मिनिट. थोडं थोडं सरकवत जायचं. शाबाश. ओके. Then I said, थोडं घ्या वर. Okay. Tulliver came home to it earlier than usual in the evening, and as he passed over the bridge, he looked with the old, deep-rooted affection and respectable red brick house, which always seemed cheerful and inviting outside. Let the rooms be as bare and hearts as sad as they might inside. There is a very pleasant light in Tom's blue-gray eyes as he glances at the house windows. The boy has returned home with a lot of confidence. That fold in that testament in this bro never disappears, but it is not uncommon. It seems to imply strength of will that may possibly be without harshness. When the eyes and mouth have their gentlest expression, his firm step became quicker. Gentlemen, young people listening to me, enjoy the story. He was returning home. He was walking. His firm step became quicker. He was walking, but his footsteps became quicker, and the corners of his mouth rebel against the compassion which is meant for forbid a smile. Take it up, sir. Okay. The eyes in the parlor were not turned toward the bridge just then. A group there was sitting in unexpected silence. Mr. Tulliver in his armchair, who was suffering from paralysis, tired with a long ride and ruminating with a worn look, fixed chiefly on Maggie, who was being over her sieving while her mother was making the tea. They all looked up with surprise when they heard the well-known foot. It was the footstep known to the family, and all of a sudden, why? What is up now, Tom? Said his father. You are a bit earlier than usual. अजून स्टोरी कोणाला कळालंय की नाही बघा. संसार उद्ध्वस्त झालेला आहे. जस्ट मिनिट सर. संसार उद्ध्वस्त झाले. वडील झोपून आहेत. मुलगा कामाला जातोय. आज घरला वापस आला आणि वडील उत्सुकतेने विचारला, कसं काय आज तू लवकर आलास? Why? What is up, Tom? Said his father. You are a bit earlier than usual. Oh, there was nothing more for me to do, so I came away. Well, mother. Tom went up to his mother and kissed her, a sign of unusual good humor with him. मुलगा कधीही प्रेमाने बोलत नव्हता. रागारागाने राहायचा. आज आईच्या गळ्याला पडला. Hardly a word or look has passed between him and Maggie in all 3 weeks, but his unusual incommunicativeness at home prevented this from being noticeable to their parents. Next, fathers. When they had finished tea, do you know exactly how much money there is in the tin box? बाबांना विचारला, बाबा, बॉक्स मध्ये पैसे मी दररोज गोळा करतो. पैसे किती आहे तुम्हाला माहित आहे का? सुख राहिला होता. मुलगा पैसे कमवून आणत होता. मुलाच्या गैरहजेरीमध्ये हळू पैशाचा डबा काढून बघत होता आणि म्हणाला, only 193 pound, said Mr. Tulliver. You have bought less or late, but young fellows like you have their own way with their money. Though I didn't do as I liked before, I was appeased. He spoke with rather timid discontent. घाबरत घाबरत म्हणाला, काय बाबा, तुम्ही तरुण आहे, तुम्ही पैसे तुम्ही कमवत असता. दररोज मला तेवढं सुख राहिलं म्हणून तू आणलेले पैसे बघत असतो. आर यू क्वाईट शुअर दॅट इज सम फादर? सेड टॉम. बाबा, एवढंच पैसे तुम्ही बघितलात का? I wish you would take the trouble to fetch tin box down. I think you have perhaps made a mistake. बाबा, तुम्ही म्हणता पैसे नाहीये, पण नीट मोजलात काय? तुमचे हिशोब चुकले म्हणाला. How should I make a mistake? Said his father sharply. I have counted it often enough, but I can fetch it if you won't believe me.
तुझ्यावर विश्वास नसेल तर जाऊन मी डबा घेऊन येतो, पण पैसा मोजणे मला एकच सुख राहिलंय. इट वॉज ऑलवेज अन इन्सिडेंट मिस्टर टलीवर लाईकड. आजारी पडले, मिल गेले, बेकार झालंय, गरिबी आलंय, एकच सुख राहिलंय जीवनामध्ये, पैसे मोजणे मुलांनी आणलेलं. इन हिज ग्लूमी लाईफ टू फेच द टिन बॉक्स अँड काउंट द मनी. डोंट गो आउट ऑफ द रूम मदर, सेड टॉम. आई बाहेर चालली. मुलगा म्हणाला, आई बाहेर जाऊ नको, 2 मिनिट थांब. हर मूव्हिंग when his father was gone upstairs. And isn't Maggie to go? Said Mrs. Tulliver, because somebody must take away the things. Come on, pude. Just as she likes, said Tom indifferently. That was cutting word to Maggie. Maggie ची त्याच्या अलीकडे पटत नव्हता. Why? She had fallen in love with the enemy's son, and he had warned her not to love him with that Philip boy. Her heart had helped with sudden conviction that Tom was going to tell their father that debts could be paid, and Tom would have let her be absent when the news was told. But she carried away the tray and came back immediately. The feeling of injury on her own behalf could not predominate at the moment. Tom drew the corner of the table near his father. When the tin box was set and opened, and the red evening light falling on them made conspicuous the worn, sore gloom of dark-eyed father and suppressed the joy in face of fair-complexed son. The mother and Maggie sat at the end of the table, the one in blank patience, the other in palpitating expectation. दुग लागली सगळ्यांना, मुलगा काय सांगणार आहे. Mr. Tulliver counted out the money, setting it in order on the table, and then said, glancing sharply at Tom, there now, you see, I was right enough. मी सांगितलं होतं की तुला एवढंच पैसे आमच्याकडे. He paused, looking at the money with bitter despondency. There is more nor 300 waiting. It will be fine while before I can save that. Losing that 42 pound with corn was a sore job. This word has been too many for me. It took 4 years. It took to lay this by. It is much. I am above ground for another 4 years. I must trust to you to pay them. He went on with a trembling voice. घाबरत वडील म्हणाला की तू माझं कसं काय कर्ज फेडणार. If you keep the same mind now, you are coming our age, but you are like enough to bury me first. पहिलं मला दफन कर, नंतर तरी कर्ज भर म्हणला. He looked up in Tom's face with his querulous desire for some assurance. डोळ्यातून स्पष्ट दिसत होता मुलाला, मला शब्द दे, मला कर्जातून मुक्त करतो. मुलगा म्हणाला, no father, said Tom, speaking with energetic decision, though there was a tremor discernible in his voice too. You will live to see the debts all paid. You shall pay them with your own hand. बाबा घाबरू नका, तुमच्या हाताने मी तुम्हाला कर्ज द्यायला लावेन. His tone implied something more than mere hopefulness or resolution. A slight electric shock seemed to pass through Tulliver. वडिलांना खात्री झालं. जस्ट मिनिट सर, थोडं खाली. वडिलांना खात्री झालं मुलांनी काहीतरी करामत केलंय. मित्रांनो, वडिलांना करंट बसल्यासारखा झाला, शॉक मारल्यासारखा झाला. A slight electric shock seemed to pass through Mr. Tulliver, and he kept his eyes fixed on Tom. मुलाकडे बघत राहिला with a look of eager inquiry, while Maggie, unable to restrain herself, rushed to her father's side and knelt down by him. Tom was silent a little while before he went on. A good while ago, my uncle lent me a little money to trade with, and that has answered. I have 320 pounds in the bank. बाबा, इथं 300 आहेत. मी बिझनेस मध्ये पैसे घातलो, बँकेत मी 300 आहेत म्हणला. पैसे कर्ज फेडून वर पैसे शिल्लक राहतात. मित्रांनो, ही घटना सगळ्या तरुण मुलांच्या आयुष्यामध्ये आई वडिलांना काहीतरी करून दाखवायचे अनुभव यायला पाहिजे. ओ माय बॉय, वडील काय म्हणते बघा, I knew you would make in everything right again when you got a man. But this father was silent. The flood of emotion hemmed in all power of speech. बोलण्यातून भावना या लागले. Both Tom and Maggie were stuck with fear lest the shock of joy might even be fatal. भाऊ बहीण घाबरले. वडिलांच्या आनंदाला पारा न राहता शॉक लागून मेलं तर काय करायचं, कारण ऑलरेडी पॅरालिस झालं होतं. बट द ब्लेस्ड रिलीफ ऑफ टीयर्स केम. अशामध्ये वडिलांच्या डोळ्यातून अश्रुधारा लागल्या. रडल्याशिवाय इमोशन्स बाहेर येत नाहीत. द ब्रॉड चेस्ट हीव्ड. वडिलांची छाती भरून आली. द मसल्स ऑफ द फेस गेव वे. चेहऱ्यावर एक वेगळा तेज आला. अँड द ग्रे हेअर्ड मॅन burst into loud sobs. जोराने रडा लागला. The fit of weeping gradually subsided and he sat quiet, recovering the regularity of his breathing. शांत बसला, श्वास रोखला. At least he took up at his wife and said in a gentle tone. बायकोला म्हणाला, Bessie, you must come and kiss me now. The lad means young boy, has made you amends. You will see bit of comfort. Oh, comfort again, belike. When she had kissed him and he had held her hand a minute, his thoughts were back to the money. आणि वडिलाला परत एकदा असं सगळ्यांना होतं मित्रांनो, विश्वास होत नाही. बाबा काय म्हणतोय बघा, मुलाला काय म्हणतो बघा, I wish you brought me the money to look at Tom. मला पैसे डोळ्याने बघायला भेटलं असतं आणखीन काहीतरी झालं असतं. Fingering the sovereigns on the table, I should have felt sure. So in this way, the son mended the family. Okay, sir, slide कडे सर परत वापस. Sir, end the slide show. Go back to the slide. पीपीटी कडे जाओ सर. पीपीटी हे एंड करा, पीपीटी कडे जाओ. So friends, the worthy son made the family happy. The father was very happy. Next day सगळं लोन देऊन टाकलं. दुसऱ्या दिवशी फर्स्ट टाइम घोड्यावर बसून गावात एक फेरफटका मारून आला पट्ट्या. फ्लॉस नदीवर ब्रिज होता. On the bridge he met Wakeham. Lawyer समोर दिसला. He thrashed with the horse whip. त्या लॉयरला असा पडवला घालून त्या हातातल्या छडीनं छडी मारला. एवढा इमोशनल झाला मारताना, तिथंच पॅरालिसिसचा सेकंड अटॅक आला, मरून पडला. In this way, the owner of the Dorlcote mill died. Children became orphans. Son didn't want his sister love Philip, but Maggie became a teacher. She went on changing the job. There was no understanding between brother and sister. I don't want to concentrate on this part of the novel. At last, it rained heavily one day. It rained and rained. There was flood to river Floss. हो, नदीला भरपूर पूर आला. भावाला वाचवण्यासाठी बोट घेऊन बहीण पळत गेली. and she took the brother. परंतु रस्त्यामध्ये ते वाहून जात असताना अचानकच the boat capsized. बोल्डरला जाऊन लागला and the bottom of the boat was seen. And next day the dead bodies of the brother and sister were collected from the river bank. आईचं स्वप्न पूर्ण झालं मित्रांनो. Coming events cast their shadows. अपशकुन म्हण पहिल्यापासूनच म्हणत होती, एक दिवशी तुमचं मड नदी म्हणून आणतील काय. नदीकडे जाऊ नका, नदीत पडून एकदा मरून जाल. दोन्ही भाऊ बहीण मरून गेले. They were buried by the ट्विन ग्रेव्स, दोन्ही भाऊ बहिणींना शेजारी शेजारी थडगे करून टाकले. दिस इज द स्टोरी. मला आवडलेलं स्टोरी तुम्हाला आवडलं मी असं अपेक्षा करतो. थोडं ह्याच्यावर डिस्कशन करतो जे तुमच्या आयुष्यामध्ये उपयोगी पडू शकतं. मित्रांनो, मी समरी तुम्हाला सांगितलं, हे स्टोरी का वाचायला पाहिजे. 3-4 गोष्टी ह्याच्यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला सांगतो. नंबर 1, द क्लेम ऑफ द पास्ट अपॉन द प्रेझेंट आयडेंटिटी. हो, आम्हा सगळ्यांवर भूतकाळ एवढा भारी होतो ना. समटाइम्स वी कॅनॉट लिव्ह विदाउट पास्ट, बट समटाइम्स पास्ट ओव्हरपॉवर्स अस. ह्या कादंबरीमध्ये ते दाखवलेलं आहे. हो, तुम्ही तरुण लोक आहात, आई वडिलांचं ऐकावं, समाजाचं ऐकावं, जुन्या वळणावर जावं का नवीन वळणावर जावं. ओके, जस्ट अ मिनिट सर. ओके, दिस इज द this decision can be taken in this novel. That is why it teaches, it makes aware the reader. There is a first point in everybody's life. There is a past. Every one of us has got the past. Every individual has got the past. Every college has got the past. Every state has got the past. Every country has got the past. Every culture has got the past. The past upon the present. T.S. Eliot खूप छान सांगतात. काय म्हण? Past guides the present and the present alters the past. हो, भूतकाळ वर्तमान काळाला मार्गदर्शन करतं, वर्तमान काळ भूतकाळाला बदलून टाकतं. सो द इम्पॉर्टन्स ऑफ सिंपथी. या कादंबरीमधून शिकण्यासारखी एकच गोष्ट आहे, माणसामध्ये दया असायला पाहिजे. वी वॉन्ट सॉफ्ट स्किल्स and this is one soft skill. This is the thing expected in every heart. प्रत्येकाच्या हृदयामध्ये हे असणे गरजेचं आहे. God has already given us sympathy in us, but it should be grown, but it should be enlarged. Yeah, the criminals, they don't have sympathy. Their sympathy doesn't grow, but your sympathy should grow. Sympathy for your family members, sympathy for the needy, sympathy for the soldiers, sympathy for the society, sympathy for the animals, sympathy for the trees, sympathy for the nature. हो, आपल्यातला हा सिंपथी वाढत जाणे गरजेचं आहे आणि तो वाढवण्याचा एकमेव मार्ग आहे नॉव्हेल, दॅट इज लिटरेचर. मित्रांनो, ह्या कादंबरीमध्ये जी मुलगी आहे, सी इज द बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ सिंपथी. या नोकरीला तुम्ही ज्यावेळी अर्ज करता ते बघितलं जातं. हो, तुम्हाला काय तुम्ही विद्यापीठात पहिल्या नंबरवरून कोण नोकरी देत नाही आता. दे वॉन्ट टू सी यू हाऊ एम्पॅथेटिक यू आर, हाऊ सिम्पॅथेटिक यू आर. दुसऱ्यांचं ऐकता का नाही, कधी दयाळू आहात का नाही थोडे तरी, हे सगळं गोष्टी बघितल्या जातात नोकरी देताना. दिस इज अ क्रायटेरियन अँड दिस इज टू मच विथ मॅगी. Even at the last moment with her brother, she is sympathetic towards him. To save him, she dies. She is a role model for the youth. You should become sympathetic. Then comes next point, the importance of sympathy, practical knowledge versus bookish knowledge. Yeah, all of us are the part of organized education system. We have books, libraries, teachers, infrastructure, student support facilities, number of best practices, all virtual, nothing real. But there are people who are not part of this organized education, formal education. They are part of informal education. They know better than what we know. They are more successful what educated people are, because they have learned the lessons of life, real education from the nature. Here there is a conflict between Maggie and Tom. I have already told Tom was interested in rabbits, sword, horses, animals, mischievous things. On the other hand, Maggie was more intelligent, confident, educated, always reading, spiritual. But who succeeded? Tom succeeded at the end. It is a role model for you people who are doing your BA and MA in English. Not only learn virtual bookish knowledge, you should learn practical things in the life too. You should be part of that practical life. Then and then only will you succeed. I had selected this novel to bring to your notice this one. You might have heard in many lectures, theoretical knowledge is of no use. It is only theory you learn. But here it is practically shown, friends, how a person who was not good in academics becomes successful in his practical life. That is why this novel tells the reader, be practical. There is a conflict between bookish knowledge and practical knowledge. At least you should find the golden mean. सुवर्ण मध्य तरी साधा. दुर्दैवाने काय व्हायला लागलंय माहितीये काय? एक तरी एज्युकेशन, एक तरी ओव्हर व्हर्च्युअल एज्युकेशन, सेकंडली नुसता परीक्षेसाठी अभ्यास, थर्डली नुसता मार्कसाठी अभ्यास, फिफ्थली ओनली थेअरी, परीक्षा झाल्या दिवशी विसरून जातो आम्ही. म्हणून नोकरी लागत नाही मित्रांनो. प्रॅक्टिकली आम्हाला काहीच माहित नाही. आमच्या घरात असलेले व्यवसाय आम्ही शिकायला तयार नाही. We are not even ready to learn the generic skills. How can we survive? आजच्या तरुणांमध्ये पुढे जावं ही धमकच कमी होऊन गेली आहे. आणि या कादंबरी वाचल्यानंतर तुमच्यामध्ये एक प्रकारची धमक, काहीतरी करून दाखवण्याची धमक त्यामध्ये दिसायला पाहिजे. मी पुढच्या मुद्द्याकडे जातो. Practical knowledge versus bookish knowledge, the effect of society upon the individual. Yeah, every one of you is under the impact of your parents, your relatives, your society. Yeah, Maggie is a victim of the criticizing society at the end of the novel. You can see there the problems in the life of every person are very different. Some are financial problems, some are physical problems, some are health problems, but above all very dangerous are relational problems. How your relatives behave with you. Actually, Mrs. Tolliver's sisters could have mended the family problem. Instead of helping the family, they go on criticizing the family. Instead of supporting, they are ready to buy the valuable things in the family. How can we expect? That is why, young people, you should remember, you are in your adolescence, around 20, 21, 23, 24. Society is there. And you have to go against the wind. They will bring many conditions as per existentialism is concerned. They won't allow you to live as you want to live. But only a few move against the wind and this lead a successful life. How many of we are? I am not instigating you people to go against the society, but you should be rational enough to take the proper decision. So friends, reading Mill on the Floss, if we apply the signifier and the signified, everything in the novel has got its own meaning. The mill, commercial purpose. The river, the nature. It stands for, isn't it? This boy stands for rationality. This boy stands for practical living life. Mr. Tulliver stands for emotional people. Mr. Wakeham stands a symbol of wicked people. This is why every story has got its signifier and the signified. You should try to bring out different meanings. You should not depend on one meaning. As many times you read, so many meanings will be there. You should deconstruct the meaning of the story. Then comes the real meaning of the story. There are two things: upper level, surface level story is one thing, inner level is another thing. So, sir, next slide, please. Before that one, yeah. Friends, those who are studying novel, last point of my presentation, different genre of literature. It is said poetry germinates, goes deeper into the subject, but the novel completes the circle. I heard somewhere novel is like a banyan tree. You might have seen the banyan tree, Vadacha Jhad. The tree is there, it grows up, its roots come to the ground, again the circular it moves. The novel is like this. It ends where it begins. In this novel, two dialogues are very important. First is Mrs. Tulliver telling, wandering up and down by the water like a wild thing. She will tumble in someday, Mrs. Tulliver says. This girl is going to the river again and again. One day will die. She will die in the river. And the last line of the novel is, in death they were not divided. In this way, the story completes. I have tried to give the summary. I have tried to its critical meaning to you people. I have tried to learn many things from literature. I have tried to make you people have interest in literature, going beyond ready-made guides, bazaar notes, and the websites. If you are not reading the original text, you are not reading literature. You are gifted with a good college. Go on reading the things. Please spend some money on the books. Buy these books. Keep in your library. These are the classics. Even they are available on the net. I wish I have created some interest in you people to read this novel in particular, to read the literature in general. If I am successful in doing it, I am grateful to you people. Once again, it was a rare opportunity for me to be amongst you people, and especially the credit goes to technology. Had there been no technology, had there been no Zoom, had all of you not been with the Zoom app, how it was not so easy for me to come to you people. So henceforth, technology will be there. Education will be 100% combination of offline and online. Now technology will not return. I will tell a simple thing and complete my discourse. I read somewhere during the Second World War, the soldiers in America participated in the war. Helplessly, they gave all the responsibilities and decisions with their wives. सगळं सत्ता बायकांकडे, लेडीजकडे देऊन गेले युद्धावर जाताना. 4 वर्षाने युद्ध झाल्यावर वापस आले. लेडीज वापस ते सत्ता कधीच दिले नाही. त्या समाजामध्ये स्त्रियांचा वर्चस्व कमी होऊ शकला नाही. कोविडने एकदम जवळ आलेल्या टेक्नॉलॉजीला एकदा आणून सोडलेलं आहे. सत्ता त्याच्या हातात गेलंय. आता ते आम्हाला सोडणार. म्हणून मी टेक्नॉलॉजीचे बी उपकार मानतो. पहिले की I could easily, without any geographical constraints, could come to you people and see you people and fulfill the request by my sisterly figure who is part of my BOS. We are like brother and sister, and your faculty members are very, very much acquainted to me. In the next journey, we will be working together. It was an opportunity for me as given in Jnaneshwari. It is written in Jnaneshwari मध्ये लिहिलेलं आहे, वडील जेवत असतात, वडिलांच्या ताटामध्ये मुलगा जेवत असतो, वडील त्याला भरवत असतात. थोड्या वेळानंतर मुलगा काय करतो, त्यांनी बी एक घास घेतो आणि वडिलांना ते घास खायला घालतो. माझ्या परिस्थिती आज असं झालंय. We learned many things from Shahu College. And today I got an opportunity to feed the father. एक घास वडिलांना बी घालायला मिळाला असं या भावनेनं, with these emotional feelings, I take leave of you. Thank you very much.
Bandare sir,
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Bandare sir, please unmute yourself. Bandare sir, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Swagat. Now go for the concluding session. Hello, Swagat. Swagat.
Unmute yourself.
Hello. Hello. कृष्णा सर, आम्हाला अनम्यूट करता का तिथं अंकुशा पीसी वरून?
Yes.
कृष्णा सर,
Thank you, sir.
please
Hello.
unmute yourself. हाँ.
Thank you very much, sir. We are really inspired to read novels. You have given the importance of sympathy, to be realistic, and to be and to have a work ethic, and to praise our work ethic. You showed this, sir, and we are really lucky and thankful to have a guest like you. Thank you for. After that, I would like to call Miss Anuja Tidke for giving vote of thanks. Miss Anuja Tidke, please.
Anuja, unmute to yourself. Unmute. Anuja, you can talk now. नहीं अनम्यूट चाहिए सर.
Swagat, you go for vote of thanks.
Yes, sir.
Hello. हाँ स्वागत, कैन यू लिसन मी?
Hello.
हाँ.
I would like to thanks each and everyone for giving their valuable time. I would like to thanks Mr. Dhanappa M. Maitri sir, our chief guest, for removing time from their busiest schedule. I would like to thanks Mr. Mr. Ghane sir, principal of our college, to organize this program. Nextly, I would like to thanks Mr. Sachin Bhandare sir for organizing this program and encouraging us to take participation in it. And I would like to thanks Miss Anuja madam to uh, to organizing this program, head of our department. And I would like to thanks one and all, and thank you for participating. And with the consent of president, I hereby declare that this program is over. Thank you.
Thank you, Maitri sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
हाँ. अंकुश मीटिंग एंड करा. अंकुश.
Okay, sir.